Let us seek in the mists of time more than 2,500 years ago. The pen did not write then as it does today. But the memories of men then were as they never are today. Ceylon, the glittering gem of India's ocean, was Lanka, the resplendent isle, then too. Hither came from beyond its golden shores hermit and priest, merchant and mariner, fighter and lover. For it was true that never was another isle like Lanka. Free from fear as guarded in the midmost sea, full of food and corn, beautiful, pleasing, green and cool, having lovely and excellent groves and forests, the trees heavy with fruits and flowers, with rivers, mountains and lakes, and free from stain. To this wondrous isle also came the greatest one ever of humankind, Siddhartha Gautama. He had reached unto complete knowledge under the wisdom tree, Bodhi, in holy Gaya. Wherefore was he called the Buddha?
Many a house of life hath held me, seeking him who wrought these prisons of the senses, sorrow fraught. Sore was my ceaseless strife.
Thus has it been written of old by a vanished sage of the line of Gautama the Buddha in the great chronicle of the island, compiled for the serene joy and emotion of the pious. When the guide of the world, having accomplished the salvation of the whole world, and having reached the utmost stage of blissful rest on the threshold of Parinibbana, the luminous, in the midst of the great assembly of the gods, he, the great sage, the greatest of all who have speech, spoke to Sakka, the Lord of heaven who stood near him.
Vijaya, son of King Sihabahu, is come to Lanka from the country of Lala, together with 700 followers. In Lanka, O Lord of gods, will my religion be established.
Of a time earlier still has the chronicler spoken, that when Gautama Buddha had sought alms among the northern Kurus of Jambudipa, and when he had eaten near the lovely lake of Anutatha in the wondrous Himalayas, on a day in the 9th pure body had sanctified the ground. They lavished honors and wealth upon the noble pile which enshrines the relics of hair and collarbone of him who had made the island a dwelling place fit for men. To this day do the faithful keep the memory of this happening. For when each returning moon brings in the hallowed month, they pour hither in endless streams. The air is laden with the perfume of offered flowers. The night dances with the flames of 1,000 lamps, and the voices rise unto the silvered sky in honor of the teacher, his doctrine, and his order of monks. The teacher in the 5th year of his sublime state was residing in the pleasant grove of Jetha. He who taught of peace from turmoil, the great teacher, he who had stilled many an anger with words of boundless love between man and man, came once again to Lanka, to the field set for battle. two lords of Nagadeepa, uncle and nephew, were warring for a priceless throne of gems. The poised Naga lords saw the teacher, the dispeller of spiritual darkness, the bringer of the light of reason. To those in fearful mood brought he comfort with words that soothed anger and calmed the turbulent spirit. He told them of the doctrine that begets concord.
Whoso is marred by no such thoughts as this is mine or that is theirs, conceives no sense of ownership, nor grieves to go without.
A great peace descended upon them. To him the warring lords gave the gift of the throne, and the cause for the shedding of blood was not. Thus did the gathered hosts accept the Buddha, his doctrine, and his noble order. And all who hearkened took the 5 vows.
To the meanest life, no hurt will I cause, nor take what is not given me. I abjure degrading sins of the flesh, as I do untrue speech and spirituous drink that clouds the mind.
The Naga king Maniakika of Kalyani, who had been about to join in the dread battle, now became a peaceful follower of the Buddha and spoke these words.
Great is the compassion that thou hast shown us here, O Master. Hadst thou not appeared, we would have all been consumed to ashes. May thy compassion yet light also especially on me, O thou who art rich in loving kindness, in that thou shalt come yet again hither to my dwelling country, thou, O peerless one.
Thus it came to pass that the Buddha and his band of bhikkhus traveled to the fair kingdom which was at Kalania in the 8th year of his life as the teacher without peer. It was on a day when the moon was full in the beautiful month of Vesak. Maniakika seated him on a precious throne shaded by a canopy richly dight with pearls and jewels. He fed the teacher and his bhikkhus with food both hard and soft, after which king and subject listened with fervor to the words of the peerless one, and they rejoiced exceedingly. Here on the spot made holy in after years rose up a great chaitya. Upon it, prince and peasant lavish splendor in remembrance of a gracious presence. When the teacher, compassionate to the whole world, had preached the doctrine at Kalyani, he rose, the master, and left the traces of his footsteps plain to sight on Sumanakuta, the holy peak. Humble pilgrims travel hither to this day to reverence the imprint of the foot of the sage. Thus does an awesome wilderness, hallowed by the age-old worship of man, enshrine a vast cathedral of the human race, even unto the end of time. With the brotherhood of bhikkhus, the teacher left for Digavapi, the jungle shrine, the spot whereon was built a chaitya in coming years, he consecrated by meditating a while. So did his presence sanctify many another ground in the sacred city of Anuradhapura, the Bodhi tree, the great Ruangveli Tupa, lovely Tupa Rama, and many another. And when Mahinda the saint spoke afresh the words of the Buddha to King Devanampia Tissa 400 years afterwards, then uprose 1,000 edifices, each a holy fane dedicated to the Buddha. Such is the story that the devout have loved to hear from of old. No less does it delight the hearts of us who are of their flesh. The master of boundless wisdom, looking into the good of Lanka in time to come, visited this fair island 3 times. Therefore this isle, radiant with the light of truth, came to high honor among faithful believers. And the sage of the Buddha's spiritual lineage set it down in the great chronicle of the land for the serene joy and emotion of the pious.